Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, doing European outlook for today's second video. So as always on a Thursday, we're having a look at the weather for next week's same days for Europe, and I should get on with that for you very shortly. To say that the first video we say was our 7 AM forecast, and we're going to 10 to 14 day with all our break features coming up later on this afternoon. So please like, share, subscribe on all our videos. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. Right, let's go on with European outlook then. We're going to start off with the situation across Europe today. So northern and west Europe being dominated by a big area of high pressure. Got a large anticyclone here sitting across the west and the north of Europe from Scandinavia down into the UK and Ireland, and then pushing down into towards France as well. Underneath that, we've got a trough of low pressure, got a big trough of low pressure sitting across central parts of Europe. That's centred over northern parts of Poland and extending up into the Baltic Sea. Further southwards, pressure is weakening through the Mediterranean as well. So you see that the very hot upper air temperatures that we've had so often through this summer have eased across southern Europe. The hottest upper air temperature now being pushed towards Turkey and into the Middle East. Still looks very hot over Spain, I have to say. Greece still pretty hot, but I mean things have cooled down a lot through the Balkans, for example, and that cooler air is extending over towards the Black Sea as well. But the real cool upper air temperatures are with this trough of low pressure across central parts of Europe. So again, Poland, into parts of Germany, even into Denmark, so into the west of Europe, actually quite cool. Then coming to the very, very far west of Europe, around Ireland and the UK, the upper air temperature is much warmer there, and the area of high pressure, where you do get pretty cool as you push over to Scandinavia. So precipitation-wise, of course, there's lots of dry weather under that area of high pressure. So most parts of Western Europe are dry. Spain, Portugal, France, UK, Ireland, and much of Norway and central north parts of Sweden, fine as well. Southern Sweden may be coming to that trough of low pressure, and that's bringing showers and longer spells of rain to the Baltic Sea, and they extend down into eastern parts of Europe as well, and also through Greece and Turkey. What am I talking about? Also through Poland and Germany. Actually, there are a few showers further southwards through southern Italy, just knocking on the door of the Greek islands, but still mainly dry through most of the Med, but showers and storms pretty much restricted to Italy. The central west part of the Med looking mostly dry, and this eastern corner of the Med mainly dry as well. So temperatures are looking like that. It is cool across northern Europe, autumnal over Scandinavia. Generally quite a cool feel with that trough of low pressure. Temperatures only sort of mid to upper teens Celsius, where you have those showers or longer spells of rain. Warmer in the west of Europe, especially so for Ireland, and also into southern western parts of France and down into Spain and Portugal. Hot there, of course. Most parts of the Med still looking hot, at least into the low to mid 30s Celsius, but we have lost the very, very extreme heat that we had like a week or two ago. But extending up the east side of Europe, it's pretty warm in the far east of Europe, but getting to that trough of low pressure again is quite a lot cooler. Tomorrow, Friday, we'll keep that trough going through the central regions, pushing in towards the east as well. At the same time, the ridge continues for the north, west, and the west of Europe as well. So the upper air temperatures show that they're relatively cool through the central parts of Europe, and increasingly cool upper air temperatures digging southwards in towards the Balkans, for example. The drop in temperature continues there. The Mediterranean looks hot. Spain and Portugal looking hot in particular. Central part of the Med looks quite warm, and then the far eastern corner of the Med around Greece and Turkey also looking quite hot through there. Scandinavia quite cool. Eastern parts of the UK also quite cool, but in the west again it is pretty warm, especially so for Scotland and also for Ireland, that area of high pressure. So again, it's mainly dry through the western part of Europe, through Spain, Portugal, into France, UK, Ireland, and many parts of Scandinavia looking dry as well. Getting to the Low Countries, eastwards into Germany, we've got showers, longer spells of rain, and they progress eastwards into Poland and the eastern parts or western parts of the Ukraine as well. Down is Med, mostly dry, 1 or 2 showers and storms over mountainous areas of Italy, but mainly dry through the Med. There will be showers pushing through the Balkans and around the Adriatic as well tomorrow. Temperatures are looking quite cool through the central and northern areas, warmer in the east of Europe, and then quite hot still through the Med, and pretty warm up the western side of Europe generally. Now, Saturday, no real changes. The high pressure dominating in the northwest and west of Europe, a trough low pressure again through these central and increasingly pushing into eastern areas. Pressure continuing to weaken, perhaps around the central bowl of the Med. Upper air temperatures relatively cool through the central areas, perhaps getting a bit warmer over Scandinavia. Still quite warm for Scotland and Ireland, a little bit cooler for England and Wales and down into France. And then into the Med, it's hot around Spain and Portugal as always at this time of year. A little bit cooler though through Italy, beginning to cool down there, and then hotter again as we get in towards that southeastern corner of the Mediterranean. Showers and thunderstorms gradually pushing southeastwards, so it looks like more storms are breaking out through the Balkans into the Adriatic Sea and perhaps back into Italy on Saturday, and plenty of showers and thunderstorms around the Alps, northwards into Germany. There could be some big showers and storms through there, and pushing into the northeast of Europe too. Scandinavia continues to look mostly dry, and again the west of Europe, away from eastern France anyway, looking mainly dry as well. Temperatures look like that, so where we've got these showers and storms and longer spells of rain, temperatures will be suppressed, quite cool, and an autumnal feel through most central parts of Europe. Perhaps a little bit warmer over Scandinavia, temperatures going into below 20 Celsius there. Quite warm across the western side of Europe too, and generally much of southern Europe looking pretty hot once again. Into Sunday, high pressure dominates across northern and western Europe. The trough low pressure will gradually be extending further eastwards though with time. So yes, we see the upper air temperatures beginning to cool down, for example from Poland in towards the Ukraine. At the same time, it's getting hotter though from the southeast of Europe up towards the Black Sea, so a little bit of a heat wave beginning to take place through there. Romania, somewhere like that, might start to get quite a bit hotter once again. Out to the northwest, it looks as though things will be relatively warm in that area of high pressure. Hottest temperatures probably reserved though for Spain. So showers, long spells of rain from Germany eastwards over towards the Black Sea. Some of those will be heavy. There could be thunderstorms mixed in as well, especially on the leading edge. We have that contrast in the cooler and hotter temperatures. Generally looking mainly dry through most parts of the Med, especially the central western bowl of the Med. Still reasonably dry, very dry through France, away from East France anyway, and much of Ireland, the UK, the dry spell goes on, and high pressure there, and most parts of Scandinavia looking pretty dry also. Temperature-wise, central to east parts of Europe looking quite cool, but the far east of Europe, close to Black Sea, still pretty hot. Getting a bit warmer under the high pressure over Scandinavia, generally quite warm across the west side of Europe, especially so for Spain and Portugal, but not as hot as it is at the moment. That's Monday, no changes, high pressure anchored, rooted over the UK and Ireland, no change going on there. Low pressure being pushed further eastwards with time into the eastern part of Europe, heading towards the Ukraine. Pressures perhaps continue to weaken down in the Med. Upper air temperature wise, looks generally warm with the area of high pressure in the west, cooler with that trough of low pressure central to some east parts of Europe, but very hot in the extreme east of Europe and the southwest of Russia, most parts of the Mediterranean again looking reasonably warm. So showers or longer spells of rain with risk of thunderstorms from Poland in towards the Ukraine. More showers back in towards parts of Germany as well. A few showers breaking out from northern parts of Scandinavia, otherwise much of Scandinavia, Ireland, UK, France, Spain, Portugal mainly dry, and much of the Med looking dry as well. It's a case of rinse repeat for most parts of Europe on Monday. Temperature wise, we look like that. Hottest around the Black Sea and through Spain and Portugal. Generally quite warm through the Med. A little bit warmer across western, northwest parts of Europe as well, perhaps. Into Tuesday, high pressure, yes, you guessed it, it's still sitting there over the western and northwest of Europe. The top of low pressure is still there through central and eastern areas. Upper air temperatures look generally quite warm by the time you get through to Tuesday. Showers and longer spells of rain from eastern Germany into Poland. There could be thunderstorms mixed in with that, extending up into the southern part of the Baltic Sea and into northeastern Europe. A few showers and storms beginning to kick off perhaps around northern parts of Spain. Most parts of the Med though looking mainly dry. Some showers into Portugal perhaps. France, UK, Ireland and large parts of Scandinavia away from the north of Scandinavia anyway, looking mostly dry. Temperature wise, it looks quite hot across Spain and into some parts of France, getting a bit hotter there actually. Relatively warm from the UK and Ireland, perhaps through the early part of next week, extending into the Low Countries, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, and Denmark and northern parts of Germany. Southern Scandinavia could also start to get a bit warmer too. The north of Scandinavia rather cool, but the hottest weather is in the far east of Europe and again through the Mediterranean. Into Wednesday, when's that high pressure ever going to move? It's still sitting there over the UK and Ireland. We continue to draw down cooler northerly winds through the central parts of Europe with a trough of low pressure in the east as well. So the upper air temperatures look really quite warm at this point. It's getting warmer perhaps across the western part of Europe as we begin September. Hottest temperatures though are down in the Mediterranean, and northern to northeast Europe is a little bit cooler through there. Showers on spells, rain and thunderstorms gradually progressing further and further eastwards with time. So now they're sort of centred from eastern Poland eastwards towards the Black Sea. Much of northern and western Europe remain dry. Increasing risk of storms breaking out perhaps over northern and eastern parts of Spain. Temperatures looking like this, generally quite warm across much of the west of Europe, but the hottest temperatures through southern and eastern parts of Europe. And then into Thursday, the ridge continues to be dominating across western Europe. No change, go nowhere fast. Cooler air from the north, perhaps coming in towards northern and eastern parts of Scandinavia and in towards Baltic Sea regions. Upper air temperatures are turning cooler, autumnal, across central and northern parts of Scandinavia and into northeast of Europe. Otherwise, around that ridge of high pressure, upper air temperatures remain quite warm, and the hottest upper air temperatures are reserved for southern Europe. Increasing risk of heavy showers and thunderstorms breaking out from northern Spain in towards France, so it could start to turn very wet through some parts of France in towards the Côte d'Azur, for example. We might have some torrential rain and thunderstorms through there. The showers and storms from the trough of low pressure will be over towards the Black Sea by the time we get through to Thursday, with much of central and northwestern Europe turning drier. Many parts of the Med, away from this thundery area here, will be relatively dry, especially in the eastern part of Med, becoming more unsettled as that cooler air digs in to the north of Scandinavia. That will bring showers or long spells of rain through there. And then I'll just run you through to day 10. So this is Friday next week, 3rd of September. High pressure dominates in the northwest of Europe. Cooler and more unsettled perhaps in that northeastern corner. And then into Saturday and Sunday, basically it's a case of high pressure continue to be in control of weather through western and increasingly central parts of Europe. By the time we get through today 10, which is the 5th of September, we might be starting to see the first signs, the first hints of this ridge beginning to break a little bit across Ireland and the UK. But this is 10 days away. It is a very, very, very long way out, and I would not guarantee that that's going to be the case. But it does look as though the ridge of high pressure, the block, is beginning to slip more towards the eastern part of Europe by day 10. More about this perhaps in today's 10 to 14 day. Right, so that's it, European outlook for this week. Essentially, it's dry, fine weather for western, northwestern parts of Europe, but unsettled through central and increasingly as the week progresses into eastern parts of Europe. And gradually begin to turn a little bit more unsettled across southern Europe too. We have lost the extreme heat now, so I think that's probably gone for this year. Of course, you can't rule out one final extreme heat wave somewhere across southern Europe, but I think the extreme heat that we had, you know, up to like the beginning of this week has now broken and gone, and so I would expect temperatures will gradually decline now, and things will turn cooler and increasingly unsettled probably across southern Europe as the autumn commences. Right, so that's it for European outlook for this week. Going to be back later on the 10 to 14 day. That will include all our regular features, so come back for that then. For this week's European outlook, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.